Welcome to the 2020 Excellence in Surface Coal Mining Reclamation Awards, a presentation of the U.S. Department of the Interior and the Office of Surface Mining Reclamation and Enforcement. For the first time, OSM presents these awards virtually. And now, here's OSM's Principal Deputy Director.
Hello, and welcome to our awards program for 2020. I'm Lanny Urtis. It's my pleasure to present this year's awards. We live in unusual times, but one thing remains true. American coal miners are working hard to provide energy for our nation, and responsible coal operators are doing great reclamation after mining is complete. I've seen the reclamation on these sites in person, and as a former inspector, I can say that the work we have seen across the nation is nothing short of excellent. In just a moment, we will share with you some of that reclamation. But first, let's hear from our longtime co-sponsor of these awards, our partners from the National Mining Association.
Good afternoon. I'm Rich Nolan, President and CEO of the National Mining Association. Nearly everything about the year 2020 has been a little different. For today's ceremony, we typically would be gathered together in person in Washington, D.C., and NMA would be proud to host this event in person to recognize those companies that have completed exemplary reclamation work and shown a meaningful commitment to the communities in which they work and live. But it's 2020, a year of doing things differently. So we are holding this important ceremony virtually this year, with participants watching today from across the country. But whether we gather in person or virtually, one thing remains the same, no matter what the year is. It is our industry's commitment to being a good neighbor from both an environmental and community perspective. We are celebrating today's award recipients because they exemplify the industry's belief that good environmental stewardship is an industry imperative and a prerequisite of any successful mining operation. The work that goes on at the mine is unique. It continues for decades and in some cases employing generations of families. So collaborating with and caring for the community in which we live and work is absolutely critical. The families who live near our mines are the same people who work in the mines. That means each and every miner is invested in leaving the land in the same condition and in most cases even better than when the mining first began. The companies we celebrate today, I am proud to say they are National Mining Association members. Don't just understand that, they are committed to it and doing it better every year. This is not the first time these companies have been recognized by the Office of Surface Mining Reclamation and Enforcement, and this year's recognition again highlights each company's commitment to the land and the communities in which they operate. My sincere thanks go out to the Department of Interior and the Office of Surface Mining Reclamation and Enforcement for continuing to recognize and encourage these great accomplishments in mining. And congratulations to this year's award winners. NMA is honored to celebrate and highlight your achievements.
Thank you, Rich. OSM started the Excellence in Surface Coal Mining Reclamation Awards in 1986. In recognizing mine operators each year, our goals are to encourage citizen and private sector involvement in the care of Americans' natural resources, to recognize the outstanding reclamation that companies achieve under the Surface Mining Control and Reclamation Act, to capture and infuse in others a strong spirit of commitment to restoring the land, and to provide a catalyst for the transfer of new or innovative technology for broader use. Our winners this year share a common trait. They're committed to people and acting as good corporate neighbors. We begin with the Good Neighbor Award. It's the second consecutive year this operator has won this award, and for good reason. The company is serious about making sure the surrounding community is involved in their success. They have improved the infrastructure of the town where they mine coal, work that benefits the mine, but also people living nearby. The judges for this award cited this operator for going well above what the law requires for emergency planning. Here's the winner of our Good Neighbor Award.
The law requires mining companies to create emergency plans in case of an accident or a failure occurs on a mine site. The difference is, this operator took things further.
Lear South came to us and said, we would like to get some people together and see how well this works.
Seeing how it worked involved several steps. First, the company called a small group together to look at plans on paper. The 10 people in that first room realized they needed more. More people, more time, and a simulation.
It's one thing to talk about how something is supposed to work, And in our world, on emergency management and even first responders, we know that once something actually happens, there are a whole lot other actions that need to take place.
The company footed the bill to gather 13 different federal, state, and local agencies together and simulate a slurry impoundment failure. They kept agencies separated so they had to communicate as if a real emergency was going on. And from that, they learned.
But we also wanted a plan that was in practice, that was actually one that could be achieved, and one that we had already had our hands on, so that we would be able to know what each agency's responsibility was and how they would react in the event of that circumstance.
We're going to know what we need to do, when we need to do it, and there's no second guesswork when the event comes.
Handling water in a different way was also a priority. The mine is expanding to produce more metallurgical coal, which will require sanitary lines. Lines the company couldn't place by itself, nor could a nearby small town.
We love the idea of that possibility happening due to being able to pick up 95 to 150 customers. However, we just didn't have the ability and the means to do that.
So the company, the city, and the county sponsored an engineering study to determine the project cost of $2.5 million. The city won an economic development grant of $2 million. The company covered the rest. Local citizens saw no increase in their bills, and the project has a side benefit.
We are going to be able to put fiber into the ditch line that the sewer line's going into, which will also expand broadband to a very rural part of Barber County.
The company's ongoing commitment to charity, to communicating with the public, and ensuring that mine operations continue safely is why the judges cited Wolf Run Mine and Lear South Complex as the Good Neighbor Award winner for 2020.
I traveled to the Wolf Run site and met with the people who put the emergency plan in place. Here's the award presentation. I'd like to present you the Good Neighbor Award for 2020. Great job. Keep doing what you're doing. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Just like to take this opportunity to thank OSM for the recognition of the Good Neighbor Award. It's just an honor and a privilege here at Lear South to be awarded this. Kind of reinforces the things that we've been doing. And I look forward to continuing this path moving forward and continuing to do the right thing.
Would reiterate what Tom has said. We really truly appreciate the great work OSM does across a wide range, and this is a tremendous honor. It's a crucial priority for us. It's a key part of our culture. This commitment to engaging with the community, making sure that the entire community benefits from the presence of our operations. Obviously, we provide more than 500 jobs here, so that is in itself a significant contribution. We really want to make sure that we are affecting all members of the community, making sure that we're making a significant contribution. So again, a real core value for us. Along with community engagement, safety and environmental stewardship are really the highest priorities for Arch. And this is just a great validation of that work. So we're really proud of the work that the Lear South team has done to earn this recognition. They are setting the standard as we see it across the industry, have done tremendous work, and are looking forward to a very long and significant relationship with the local community here over the next 20 plus years as we develop this mine and produce coal that we'll be shipping all over the world.
And now we turn to the National Award. This operator is also a repeat winner. And again, the judges chose this company for its commitment, in the CEO's own words, to do the right thing. The company went to great expense and effort to correct reclamation that was done in past decades, reclamation that was approved and released from any other obligation. But they spent millions of dollars in additional reclamation because the site would not support the post-mining land use. Here is the National Award winner.
There's a simple truth in the high desert: water is life. The challenge about water in this area is that it doesn't come very often, and when it does, it's an event.
You get a lot of rain all at once, so you get a lot of water going into the system all at once, and the ground isn't quick to absorb all of it, so a lot of times you get runoff.
It's that sudden runoff that makes reclaiming a coal mine such a challenge. A previous owner reclaimed the Mason stockpile in the 1970s using techniques acceptable at that time, and the government approved the work. But 40-plus years later, the site would not support the intended post-mining land use of grazing and wildlife. The new owners realized current reclamation would cost a lot, but not reclaiming would cost more.
The Mason pile would create ongoing maintenance and other issues, and so this was an opportunity for us to step up, do the right thing.
Spread over more than 400 acres, the company had to segregate topsoil and find millions of cubic yards of fill material. 8 million cubic yards. To move that much dirt from one side of the reclamation to another, the company bought new railroad equipment and started moving dirt. That while engineers drew plans using GPS, optical, and digital mapping.
I've spent the last 2 years staring at designs on my computer.
But it's one thing to see a design on paper, another on the ground. So the company allowed heavy machine operators the freedom to make changes as they moved the dirt.
We talked with them, what can we do better to make one phase go better? So they're able to talk about the heights that we're taking, the cuts that we're taking, the way we're pushing, taking these ridges and putting dozers on them, and do that in an efficient, effective manner.
Back to water. The reclamation requires 2 years of regular irrigation to establish vegetation, a huge effort and expense in the desert.
Why did we do that? Well, you have to understand NTEC. NTEC has one shareholder, and it's the Navajo Nation. And we have an obligation to our shareholders to reclaim the land in the best possible means.
The result is state-of-the-art geomorphic reclamation that mimics natural hills and waterways. And there's another result, pride.
But I like to see it and be proud of it. This is right here on the reservation, so beautiful. And I like for a feedback from other people like that, and that makes me feel good.
The size, scope, and sense of obligation is why the judges chose this nomination for the 2020 National Award, given to the Navajo Transitional Energy Company and North American Coal, Bisti Fuels.
I traveled to the Navajo mine in late September and toured the newly reclaimed areas, as well as the reclaimed Shindy site. At the same mine, our 2016 National Award winner. Before I presented CEO Clark Mosley with the award, he addressed his employees.
One of them is to leave the land for the generations in the future. And that's a very, very important part of what we do here. And it's evidenced by the extra effort to have watersheds that work and work right and work naturally, and not to have engineered or man-made structures that you have to deal with in the future. So that's one of them. And the other one is, I think you've heard a lot, is we do what's right. Do the right thing. And that's evidenced by this team that's here, and it's evidenced by the leadership that comes from the board at NTEC and all our efforts. NTEC would like to thank OSM and all of our partners. We couldn't receive this award without the involvement of all our partners, the employees at Navajo Mine, and this is just a great achievement and award. We very, very much appreciate this, and thank you a lot to OSM.
We will continue to honor this year's winners. We've uploaded the videos featuring both operators on our YouTube channel so they can share their accomplishments with their coworkers, friends, and family. You can also find information on our website, Facebook, and Twitter. We will feature the winners throughout the year on our social media platforms. And we will also recognize 2020 winners at Mine Expo 2021 in Las Vegas, along with our partners, the National Mining Association. We hope you enjoyed the 2020 Excellence in Surface Coal Mining Reclamation Awards. From the U.S. Department of the Interior and the Office of Surface Mining, I'm Lanny Erdis. Thank you so much for watching.